Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. You know, one thing I get asked quite often is, what is the best overall gun manufacturer? What manufacturer makes great products, stands behind those products, has a wide variety of products available? People will ask me, hey, if you could just buy from one manufacturer for the rest of your life, what would it be? Well, you know, I'm very fond of Smith & Wesson. I think everybody knows that. I'm a huge Smith & Wesson fan. If you've been watching my shorts on my revolver collection, you know that's the case. But I think they've been dropping the ball lately on customer service and product quality. Some of their guns are coming out, not what they should be, and some of their new designs are, let's say, lacking. They're just not that high of a quality. They've put out some real stinkers lately. But like I said, I'm still kind of fond of them, but because of the little problems they've been having lately, I think Ruger has pulled to the forefront. Ruger makes great guns. They make great revolvers. They make somewhat less great, but still very good semi-automatics. They make great long guns. They make ARs. They make 1911s. They make pretty much anything you want. Their polymer guns, like I said, not the best ones you can possibly buy, but they're still good and they're priced reasonably and the company will stand behind them. So pretty much anything you want, you can get from Ruger and it will be good quality or great quality even, and they'll stand behind it and it's a good price. So I think Ruger is probably the best overall gun manufacturer right now that you can buy from in this country. Now, I know when you talk about Ruger, people bring up two big complaints. That is casting versus forged, and Bill Ruger himself. Now, the first one, casting, that's not anything to worry about. Ruger builds their guns incredibly strong. Are they as strong as they would be if they were forged? Not quite. But they're so overbuilt that it doesn't matter. They're stronger than a lot of forged guns because the forged guns aren't as engineered as the Rugers are. So Ruger guns, the casting process, that is nothing to worry about. That investment casting, they have got that down to a science and it is done very well. And if casting is done well, it's, almost indistinguishable from forged. And Ruger does it well. So if you're worried about casting versus forged, yeah, forged is always a little better. But forging done wrong is way worse than investment casting done right. So I would take Ruger and not worry about investment casting, period. The only thing I don't like sometimes is their grip frames where they use these aluminum tang grip frames. That is an issue that I do have with some of their guns. I don't have that big an issue now as I used to when I was younger and pickier, and less informed than I am now. But still, like I said, Ruger, the casting process, great. Their guns pretty much on point all the time. They don't really make any huge missteps. Like their little 5.7 gun is way better than the Smith & Wesson 5.7. So, like I said, they do it right and their customer service is top notch. So don't worry about the investment casting issue. Now let's move on to Bill Ruger. Now, it's a shame I have to say this in this day and age that people ain't figured this out yet, but I understand people get old information from people who never update their information. And I had to say this, and this is the reason I'm making this video. I had to say this to someone in a comment yesterday when they talked about how Bill Ruger sold out the gun community. I was like, update your information. Bill Ruger had a good reason for what he did, and he's dead. He ain't running the company anymore, so it's kind of hard to hold the current manufacturer responsible for a dead man who's not in charge. But let's talk about Bill Ruger himself and what he did. Not only did he revolutionize the industry with his investment casting, etc., and his gun designs, but he actually saved a lot of gun rights. Now, I know a lot of people are like, but he's the one that championed the 10-round magazine limits. Well, yes, he did. But you got to have you got to have the ability to put that in perspective and have perspective on the other things that were happening at the time. You got to understand it as it was happening. What he was doing is he was living in a society and living in a time where Congress was about to ban pretty much all semi-automatic handguns and rifles for civilians. They had the votes. They were going to do it. They already had the legislation written. The vast majority of semi-automatic guns gone overnight. And a lot of manufacturers were worried, we're going to go out of business. This is horrible. Bill Ruger is the one that stepped up, used his power, used his money, used his influence to convince a lot of politicians that, hey, instead of banning semi-autos, which you're so worried about because they hold so many rounds and can be fired so quickly, let's just limit the magazines to 10 rounds. Then it's not that big of a difference between, a 7 or 8 round revolver and a 10 round semi-auto. The calibers are usually weaker anyway, so having a few more rounds doesn't really make them that more dangerous. And he was able to convince Congress of this because, they don't know how quick you can change a magazine. They don't know anything about guns. They're just saying whatever they think will get them votes. Make them look like the saviors of mankind. So he convinced them to do that, to just limit the magazines instead of banning the actual guns. That kept a lot of guns off that roster of forbidden now. So he really was a champion. And he knew when he did this, people were going to look at him and be like, he's the one that caused this. Because he knows how people act. People are reactionary. People don't bother to find out what's going on before they react. They'll see a blurb or a buzzword and they freak out. Especially if it confirms their own biases or prejudices or their own feelings of moral superiority or something like that. They'll just react. And he knew that. He knew he was going to be demonized for it. But he saved a lot of guns, and he saved the people having the ability to obtain these guns because of his selfless act. And of course, he had to sell that act to Congress. He couldn't be like talking to them and saying, if we limit them to 10 rounds, that'll take away the advantage, and then going out and saying to everybody else, I fooled them. 10 rounds, that doesn't matter. And plus, we can get magazines anywhere, anytime. It's going to be hard for them to control those because they don't go through FFLs. So, I fooled him. He couldn't do that. He had to play the part all the way through if he wanted to get this passed into legislation. And he did. So he doesn't deserve the hate he gets from a lot of people, period. And he definitely, even if he did deserve some of it, that doesn't reflect on Ruger now. Because like I said, he's dead. That'd be like, I don't want to deal with Yankee because if I go over there, Gary's going to do something crazy. Gary's dead. You don't have to worry about Gary on this channel anymore. So, same thing with Bill. He's dead. Even if you want to keep hating him, that's not a reason to hate Ruger. And you really don't have any reason to hate him. So it'd be nice if people could put that into perspective. So they could have, some understanding of how what he did related to what was happening at the time. And how what he did was actually quite selfless and very intelligent, very smart. It was a good move. There was no way we were going to stop that legislation. It had votes it needed and votes on top of those. It was already written. He got it changed. And then it passed. He helped us dodge a really big bullet that would have been hard to come back from. It was like a new NFA, only stricter, that we'd be living with now if it wasn't for Bill Ruger. So like I said, if you want to hate on Bill Ruger, go ahead. Don't hold that against the company they have now. But if you pay attention to history, and if you have a little perspective, and you have a thought in your head, a brain in your head where you can see what was happening, you'll understand that Bill Ruger doesn't deserve any hate from any gun lover. Hey everybody, really quick before I go here, I want to remind everyone that as of the 16th of this month, we reopened TYMP so people can go over and nominate themselves. If you want to nominate yourself to be a recipient of TYMP, go over to TYMPpistolproject.com, scroll down the page, there's a little form there you can use to nominate yourself to be a recipient. And remember, it doesn't have to be a sad sack, my life's in danger kind of story. Just you're someone who wants to exercise your Second Amendment rights, and for one reason or another, you don't have the means to do so right now. Maybe you're a working mom, whatever. You don't have to be being chased by zombies at the moment. So go on over there if you think you can benefit from TYMP and nominate yourself. What we're going to do is nominations are open till the end of this month. And then on the 1st, I send all those emails to the people who judge them. They'll pick 4 winners. We'll announce those on the 15th of next month. And then we'll do that every month from then on out. From the 1st of the month to the end of the month, you can register. And then at the end of the month, I send those to the judges. They return the results to me by the 10th. We announce it by the 15th every month. So go on over, register. And if you want to support TYMP, go on over to the same website that I linked in the upper corner. Buy yourself some merch. Merch like the shirt I'm wearing right now, all the profits go to support TYMP. There's tons of designs over there. If you want to go over and see if you can find something you like, I'm sure you can. There's mugs, t-shirts, magnets, stickers, and soon to be sweatshirts. So go on over and help support the program if you want to be part of helping people in need, and go on over and register if you want to benefit from TYMP. And with that being said, I am out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope to see you again on Monday. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.